For many years, Godox is a fixed part of my photo shootings. My first Godox product was the huge flashlight Ws600pm, which empowers me to get pleasant results even in harsh sunlight, like the ones in the first few seconds of today's video. Especially the Ws600pm is accompanying me during all my travels I do with my wife. Anyways, for my new photo studio that I'm just going to set up, I ordered the 120 cm softbox. As of now, everyone knows a huge light surface is providing pleasant light to the subject. It gives soft and beautiful even lit results. Not that you necessarily need a softbox to get soft light. There are even cheaper and maybe even better options, but more to this in my next video. So I bought this 120 cm softbox for 45 euros, including handling and shipping. In the US it might be about $50. As a bonus, a light stand and a holder for a speedlight was bundled to the package. This softbox does not have a bones mount. To attach the speedlight, you mount the speedlight holder to the rod inside the softbox. Through a slot in the softbox you can get the light stand inside the box. A big flashlight like the Ad600pm from Godox can be mounted directly to the light stand with the softbox attached through the flash unit then. The softbox can be slightly moved forward or backward, but I'm not sure if there's any difference in the results by doing so. That would need to be tested in another video. Now, the softbox is very easy to set up, which is really important if you travel. It's also very lightweight. I have some other softboxes, but they are quite complicated to mount all the single parts together, especially as I am all thumbs. More to that in another video then. Not to the thumbs, but to the more difficult to mount softboxes. As the softbox is quite big, you should pay attention to extend the light stand slightly, but not too much. This is because when mounting the softbox on top of the light stand you need space in both vertical directions. You don't want to hit the ceiling when it's too high, and you don't want to hit the floor when it's too low. Now, the question is if a speedlight with 60 watt seconds has enough power for a photo studio shooting with a huge softbox like this. I mean, the speedlight needs to illuminate roughly a square meter or 9 square feet. So there we need to look at the settings I normally use in a photo shooting in a photo studio. With enough power at hand, I always set ISO at 100. That provides best and sharpest results in regards of noise. I also want to eliminate any unsharp results caused by movement. So with the 60mm lens on an APS-C camera that I use, which is 90mm full frame, I use a shutter speed of not below 1/100th of a second. Normally I do not need to blur out the background in a studio, so I can set the aperture to around 6. So both face as well as the hair should be in focus. I added an extra speedlight for the backdrop. I want to have more or less even illumination for all pictures I take. The subject is quite close to the backdrop, and so is the softbox. So to gain control of the backdrop there's need of an extra light. The next thing is that you normally want evenly lit faces, especially with female models. So despite the big 120 cm softbox providing soft light, a fill light from the opposite side is necessary. Only then you only have minor differences between the two sides of the face. To achieve that, I tried with a permanent light source with a smaller softbox containing 4 45 watt bulbs. At the end of today's video you find some sample pictures with different settings. All photos were made using ISO 100. The speedlight in the 120 cm softbox was continuously and manually set to 1/16. I only use speedlights in manual mode. You get a feeling to which setting is needed pretty quickly, and I simply have more control. I practically never use TTL. To achieve an evenly lit background I used the Godox TT350 with 1/4 of power and placed it just behind the model, directed towards the backdrop. During this test I ran into another problem. I carefully tightened all screws on the tripod, yet the position of the model is different in every single shot. Even a remote control did not help. The reason is most likely that I changed the camera or transmitter settings for every single shot. Anyways, there's not much to worry, since in a real shooting with a real model, the model moves all the time. In a real shooting you are also free and do not need to use a tripod. I was just surprised I could see the difference, the movement in every single photo. Only possibility to avoid the movement would be to use an app on the smartphone to change camera settings. For the pictures I show at the end, I increased the shutter speed continuously and also increased aperture. Only the last two pictures were taken with the same camera and speedlight settings. The very last one is different because I moved the softboxes closer to the subject, and it is the last one where the hairstyle is showing off best. I try to set up a photo studio now. If you want to follow what I'm doing and if I succeed or fail, then please subscribe. Thanks for watching and see you next time.